This program is brought to you by Emory University.
Claude Neal was the last spectacle lynching in the United States. Now, I know spectacle and lynching are words that really should not go together, but they did. What happened in 1934 was that Claude Neal was in a jail in Alabama. The lynch mob was incensed. They didn't want him going through the regular judicial system. Now, understand that the regular judicial system in Alabama for African Americans was not a kind and gentle force, but a lesson needed to be made of Claude. And that lesson was going to be one of the most horrific acts of violence on American soil. Part of what you had with spectacle lynching was that, I know we have these ideas in our head about a lynching where there are one guy, two guys. They sold tickets. This was advertised in the churches. Special trains were in fact reserved where you could get the special train ticket. It's almost like a cruise line kind of deal. I mean, it was a festival. It was an event. And yeah, I don't need an event where it's advertised, announced in church on Sunday. So, we've got Minister so-and-so is going to be speaking here, and so-and-so is going to be happening there. And oh, by the way, we're going to have a lynching down in Florida. You can get your special tickets in the back. They only cost so much, and it's going to, bring your kids, bring a picnic basket. It's going to be fabulous. Claude Neal gets yanked out of that jail in Alabama. He gets sent through a gauntlet of torture down into Florida, where the crowd that has bought their tickets and come in on their special trains and brought their picnic baskets are waiting for this incredible event. He is put up on a stand, stripped naked, and the crowd is going wild. He's being branded. I mean, you already see the blood. I mean, because he's gone through this gauntlet of torture. And then they began to just start cutting off his body parts. Part of the torture is they began to cut off his genitalia. They cut off one piece, stuff it in his mouth, and force him to eat it. And the crowd is like, yeah! And they cut off some more of his genitalia, stuff that in his mouth, and eat it. So you can imagine this man is standing there before the throng, bleeding, forced to eat his own flesh. And there is no sense of humanity anywhere in the air. Then they start cutting off his fingers and throwing them to the crowd like a souvenir. And the crowd is like, more, 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 more. And Claude is there bleeding to death, being branded with hot irons. And finally, after no more, then strung up. This is the spectacle lynching of Claude Neal. That was horrific enough. But what, in fact, makes it beyond egregious is then the response of the law enforcement officials. The NAACP immediately sent folks down to investigate this lynching. They went to Alabama and they said, Alabama, there's no crime committed here because he wasn't killed here. So they went to the officials in Florida. Florida said, he's not from here. No crime committed because he's not from here. Now, I didn't realize that anywhere in the statute dealing with murder, it said you had to be from that space in order for that to be a murder. But the NAACP thought, we now have on the books the Lindbergh kidnapping law, based on the kidnapping of Charles Lindbergh's baby, that therefore makes it a crime, a federal crime, to take somebody and transport them against their will across state lines. So the NAACP goes to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI. J. Edgar Hoover says, no crime committed here because nobody asked for a ransom. That is what justice looked like for Claude Neal and so for so many African Americans during the Great Depression.
The preceding program is copyrighted by Emory University.